Oh yeah, you know why I'm asking this. I'm trying to see if he can get slurped up by somebody other than Arume. What's up, guys? I'm Here we are to have a quick discussion on whether or not the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna, is a curse. I'm not kidding. Like, is bro a curse? Is he not a curse? Is he kind of a curse? Is he a curse's cousin? Is he something like Tengen? Is he not? Up, down, left, right, left, right. Is that a cheat code? Let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into the discussion. What's up, guys? Pencil here. Fun fact, I have it on me. And I keep it on me at all times. And, Sukuna may have it on him and keep it on him at all times. But unfortunately, if there's a certain quirk about Sukuna's biology, he may become what was had on and kept on at all times. But what am I talking about? Like, why am I even asking this question? I think you know, but let's talk about the criteria of the question. We need to know whether or not Sukuna, not Maguna, not Yujakuna, not any of them. No, specifically Sukuna. If you want an extra specific one, the one that has 4 arms, the one we see at the end of 237, is that man, that thing, that beast, a curse. And here's the thing, right? There are 2 sides to this argument. There are 2 wolves fighting inside one of you. Inside everyone. And this is the answer. There are 2 paths that we walk down with Sukuna being a curse or not being a curse. If he is not a curse, then there's going to be issues. If he is a curse, there's still going to be issues. But regardless, let's actually talk about why I personally believe that he's not really a curse, but he's probably close enough. So, first things first, the reason we need to worry about whether Sukuna is a curse or not is because it's never actually clearly stated that he is, unless someone can just fact check me and prove me wrong outside of a very recent example. I don't think it's actually stated anywhere that he's, a curse, considering he was a human that evolved beyond humanity and just got 4 arms because of it, and, 2 eyes and a second face. All that just seems to be something he got automatically. I guess that's what happens when you become a truer human, but not a true human. So he's not that. The only reason he's called the King of Curses is because he's considered the apex of all evil. And remember, non-sorcerers that are not non-sorcerers, not the monkeys, but... Sorry, the ghetto came out of me right there. But not the non-sorcerers and the people who do not use Jujutsu. The non-sorcerers that aren't registered with Jujutsu High. Remember, they are not really curses, they're curse users. So Sukuna would essentially be the ultimate curse user, the king of curses, and the king of curse users. Because remember, everything in JJK is a curse. The abilities are curses, the enemies are curses. Heck, when you think about it, curses are curses. So everything within Jujutsu Kaisen is a curse, so him being the apex of the series, the apex of Jujutsu, he is truly the king of curses. But the main reason we need to know whether or not the 4-arm state counts as a curse is because of a certain big brain boy who may be, for lack of a better term, lurking, whispering about here and there. There's some devious and diabolical things that could go on if Sukuna happened to be a curse. So for the evidence against it, he's literally just never been called one. Ever. At least not directly. Until 237. But once again, we'll talk about that in a second. But if he is a curse, there's some certain stipulations that are going to be met. And the main evidence for him being a curse is, 1, he does not look human, even remotely. I'd say Kashimo, despite literally transcending humanity, still looks more human than Sukuna does. And also the fact that literally in 237, in the official translations on Viz, don't get me wrong, Viz has had funny translations before, but this is the most official one. This is where I go to if I really need to get something extra official. It says something along these lines. Sukuna has a way to repair his flesh only once, besides reverse curse technique. He can do so by resuming transformation as a curse taking fleshy form, which he had purposely interrupted before. So, that's kind of just cold hard evidence that bro's a curse. I don't know how to play that out. That's literally just what the translation says. As a curse, taking fleshy form. The difference is, and the reason I still think, despite that clear statement, that he is a curse, the reason I think there's still some loopholes in it is because curses aren't flesh. Notably, we know they do have brains. They have souls. They even have seemingly functioning organs in the case of some of them. We do see some eating, so they can exist and interact with the physical world, but note the wording there, as a curse taking fleshly form. So he is a curse in the sense that, I don't know, he's a four-armed dude with 4 eyes. Like, it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. People don't look like Tetramans, and you can still call them humans. And the other thing is the fact that, obviously, people also don't have mouths on their stomach. So he looks like a curse in that sense. And the chapter clearly calls him a curse. But the difference between Sukuna, King of Curses, and your pretty much every other curse in the entire series is that he's not made of cured. I was about to say cured energy. He's not made of cursed energy. He's made of flesh, which is imbued with extreme amounts of cursed energy. There's a fundamental difference that makes him different from every other curse in the entire series that we've seen. Everything that's been clearly identified as a curse. Mahito may have physical form, may have a soul, may have been able to manipulate their soul to make different shapes, still purely made of cursed energy. Jogo, still made of purely cursed energy. Heck, even hybrid... Why did I try to say hybrid and half-breed? My Vegeta and my Goku came out. But hybrid or half-breed human curses like Choso are still mostly human, presumably, because of the nature of their birth. Like, yeah, they have cursed aspects, but that doesn't actually make them anything more than a fancy human with extra steps. And that's probably why Kenjaku didn't just serve up Choso. But then again, he also didn't like Choso, so maybe he just did it out of spite. Because Kenjaku is that petty. But the thing is, if Sukuna exists as a curse taking fleshly form, he still does count as a curse. And we know Kenjaku, if there's any character in the series who can stretch the limits of something, Kenjaku would be able to stretch the limits of what curse or curse spirit means in this context. We have the ultimate limit stretcher in of itself. Remember, Sukuna is incarnating in a new physical form. Sure, he is becoming a curse taking fleshly form, so he is flesh and bone, but we know he's incarnating. He's manifesting into something new. And we see that curse spirit manipulation is just vague enough that someone who never had to incarnate... Well, actually, technically, maybe. This literally is a bar for bar verbatim situation. I was about to say something that I believe is factually incorrect. Remember Tengen? Remember who has Tengen now? Around Kenjaku. Remember how Tengen was an extremely powerful sorcerer who transcended humanity, but in order to fade off that transcendention, is that a word? Transcendention? That doesn't sound like a proper word. And in order to avoid evolution, Tengen ended up merging with different star plasma vessels. And with that being the case, they managed to stay human, purely, seemingly enough. Immortal, yes, but human, fundamentally. But with the failure of Rico Amanai, in just 13 years, not even 13, is it 13? I'm probably getting my numbers wrong. But in a little over a decade, Tengen went from just a regular person for the most part, because, you know, they kept possessing and overriding and deleting star plasma vessels, to a hybrid curse. Something that was more cursed than man. And Sukuna seems to have undergone a very similar process. You could very definitely argue that Sukuna's even further along in the process. Remember, what Tengen mentions is that, oh yeah, by the way, you would look like this too after 400 years of just straight evolution, or really over 1,000 years. Tengen's been around for a hot minute. And thusly, Tengen has some properties of Sukuna, to the point where Kenjaku, upon simply looking at Tengen, is like, wait a minute. You know who you look like? Hold on, let me pull that picture. And he compared it to Sukuna. Sorry, I'm gonna fight to say his name right. It's not Sukuna. No, it's not Sukuna. It's Sukuna. Sukuna, I believe. I think. I'm sorry. But with it being the case, Sukuna is the basis for what an evolved human, an evolved sorcerer that's closer to curse than human looks like. And we've seen that curse spirit manipulation is willing to get a little bit flexible and bend the rules. So you don't actually have to be a cursed spirit to where you're composed of purely cursed energy. You just need to be close enough to a curse that you can get slurped up. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, why you are, as long as your biology is closer to a curse than it is a human. then you can be slopped up. And with that being the case, you may be wondering, well, if that's the point, then why wasn't Laguna counted as something of a curse that inhabited fleshy form, or even Yuji Itadori? And the main reason I think that is because they were like an inch, a taste, a whiff away from what they could be, which is Sukuna. Notably, the chapter 237 specifically, very specifically states resuming the ability or the transformation of a curse taking fleshly form. So he had started to. Yuji and Megumi had started to mutate simply by getting the extra eyes. They had started to work towards that beyond humanity state, like Tengen was. But Sukuna had paused the incarnation and finished it up. So now he went from probably nearly the same level Tengen was as Maguna / Yuji Kuna to beyond that. Once again, 4 extra arms, a second mouth, 4 eyes. Not exactly a regular human physique. And with that being the case, builds all this up to say, Sukuna may end up being a Kenjaku victim. Because if this is the case, if he truly is a curse-taking fleshly form, we know curse pure manipulation does not care. If you are close enough to curse, it will slurp you up. We see this with Tengen. Tengen did not have their curse spirit projection absorbed. The one that was spawning within all the barriers, that's not what Kenny absorbed. Kenny took their literal physical body, the immortal body that had been laying there for over 1,000 years, and slurped that up. And remember, Tengen was nowhere near as far along as Sukuna was. And now with this evolution complete, he should have met curse spirit manipulation criteria. Because Tengen met it. And Sukuna and Tengen are literally, they're twins, essentially. They may not be actual twins, but they're close enough in terms of their situation. Ancient sorcerers evolving beyond humanity after possessing very specific humans. What did Tengen have to possess? Star plasma vessels. What did Sukuna have to possess? I don't know what the special trait of Yuji and Megumi are that allows them to do it. For Megumi, I chalk it up to him being the child of a heavily restriction user. And for Yuji, I don't know, Kenjaku. That's what they say. Some crazy things. Kenjaku's a weird guy. So let's just put it that way. Let's be nice. Let me be nice and not verbalize what I was actually about to verbalize. I'll just say Kenjaku's a pretty weird fella. And thusly, I can see him making Yuji special enough for Sukuna. And Megumi just naturally being born that way because of his daddy. So, with that being the case, I think Sukuna is not a curse. Legally, he is not. To be a curse, you must be composed of curse energy. Rika is the queen of curses. She is made of nothing but cursed energy. Mahito is the curse of souls, the curse of humanity, made of pure cursed energy. Jogo, Hanami, Dagon, name any cursed spirit you want. They're composed purely of cursed energy, and Sukuna does not meet that criteria. He is specifically a curse taking fleshly form. However, in spite of the fact that he does not meet the specific curse criteria of being an individual that is purely infused with cursed energy and only cursed energy, I do believe he's close enough to fit under the stipulations for curse spirit manipulation, considering he is in a very similar, if not an even further boat than Tengen, in terms of a sorcerer that evolved past the basic steps of humanity and thusly evolved beyond that and became more cursed than human, walking that very seemingly loose boundary between human and curse. And that means Kenjaku, with curse spirit manipulation, can come in and scrum diddly umptious. Now, the only issue with Sukuna being a curse and now supposedly being susceptible to curse spirit manipulation is that Kenjaku still have to beat him down. Like, the reason that Tengen got so quickly when Kenjaku pulled up is because Tengen was fodder. Like, I mean, they were good at barrier techniques, but so was Kenjaku. They hadn't actually fought in 1,000 years. That was literally Kenny's main critique of Tengen. Like, hey, I've been out in these streets, you've been laying in them sheets, that's why you weak, and that's why slurped up instantaneously. Sukuna, though, quite the opposite of weak. Quite dangerous, in fact. If only there was some scenario where there was a massive gauntlet of characters that were attempting to wear down this Sukuna to allow him to be in a state where Kenjaku could hypothetically absorb him. If only there was such an oddly specific scenario. Oh, yeah. So, if I had to summarize, the point of this is it establishing that Sukuna is, yes, not a curse in the literal sense, as he is not forged of cursed energy, but he, like Tengen, is close enough due to him being a curse taking fleshly form. He is no longer in a pseudo-evolved state like he was when he was possessing Yuji and Megami, and thusly he is now a possible victim for curse spirit manipulation if he is made weak enough. Now, being completely honest with you, does it make sense that he gets weak enough? Only if his curse energy reserves are still super duper low and all he did was restore his physical form. Because then I can see Kashimo running into a high diff fight and taking a lot of energy out of him. I can see Maki coming in, sneaking Sukuna, doing a decent amount of soul damage to him. I can see Yuta putting up a good fight. I can see Hikari trying to put up a good fight, maybe landing a black flash or two. And obviously Mr. Left Right Goodnight himself, the child of Kenjaku, could go crazy and ultimately just wear Sukuna down so the main villain of the series can do what they've always done with Sukuna. Use them as a tool, use them as a pawn, and ultimately get exactly what they desire. However, that's what I think. Please what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think Sukuna qualifies as a curse that's susceptible to curse spirit manipulation? Do you think he's exempt from it? Do you think there's some gray line in between? Please let me know all that and more in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that little notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You support me as one, count them one, a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get these same perks and more. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, and Perp Skills. I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Red Wolf 4765, Midnight Gem Lord, Kevin, and Demix LND. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Ochia and iDemo Comic. I'd like to give a hefty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 patrons, Igneal and Calvin Elder.